Well, we haven't done a full match day diary today because we're having a bit of a full record later on, see what we think the last few games. But I'm just having a quick debrief. I've walked from the game, mulling on my thoughts. I'm coming to a lovely little brewery where I'm having some spelt pale. There's another Newport fan in here. I found this David, part of the London Exiles. How you doing?
Yeah, well, aside from the result, all good, yeah.
So, unpicking that a little bit, my thoughts went in with 4-2-3-1 with a slightly strange front sort of four of Spellman, Antwi, Glennon and Garner. What did you see? What did you think when you saw that?
Yeah, it was a bit unusual. It took me a while to work out whether Glennon was playing on the left side of a five, but then it quickly became clear he was sort of in midfield or going up top, and it was. I was excited by it to begin with, but he was getting into good areas, and there was that final pass, that end product wasn't there. I think that was the problem, and we just lacked that target man who's going to put the ball in the net, basically. So. Yeah.
And I thought when we finally ended up with the two in midfield being, instead of Lloyd and Smith, we ended up with Brennan coming back and Cam Evans. They could potentially be the sort of meaty two. If we're going to sign no one else, they could be the meaty two. And then we had Camber on the pitch, still with Spellman and Antwi, and then Reindorf came on. So we switched it around a bit. I know we created nothing today, but the only time we looked like creating anything was with Camber. We've got to find a way of having him on the pitch, I think.
Yeah,
as frustrating as he is.
Yeah, I agree. I think you're right, he is frustrating, but he's also the player that shows us the most kind of promise going forward, and it's difficult when you bring him on after an hour or so for him to actually make an impact. I think if he starts the game, he's got more chance to get into it. Yeah, it's tough. I think we're a couple of players short of being a good side. It feels like they're trying to play in the right way. There are moments where they look promising, but it's just not enough at the moment.
I think we got work. Deadline is Monday, isn't it? I think there's work to be done. We need at least two in. I would be thinking we need someone in that midfield. Yeah. We need more oomph in there, and we need more oomph up front, I think.
Yeah, for me, I mean, you guys have been saying, haven't you? We need a bastard in the midfield, and that is what it is. We need somebody to get in there, break up play. Just be that difficult person so that the midfield doesn't get run over like it's been getting done for the last year or so. And we need a striker. I don't see that we've got a real target man at the moment. And I understand that's not necessarily how we're trying to play. We're not doing that long ball, traditional League 2 stuff, but you still need somebody that can get the ball in areas and hit it in the net.
Because it comes straight back at us, doesn't it?
Yeah, totally. And we just then getting overrun, and there's a huge sort of deficit of players, and we're not able to defend it. So it's challenging. There's like glimmers of hope, but the fact is we can't keep losing games by 1 or 2 goals and not picking up points, because by midway through the season we're going to be in serious trouble if we don't start putting some results together.
Yeah, and I mean, I think the thing for me, I thought today is they were two poor sides actually. I thought Cambridge were pretty poor. I was just walking back from the ground and thinking neither keeper had a shot to save. There was barely a chance or a shot on target in the whole game. There were very little goalmouth action. There was nothing in that game really, and yet we still lost it 2-0, which is worrying.
It was a set piece, wasn't it, in the first half, and then in the second half it was their player sort of driving through, hitting the post, and then an unmarked player on the rebound hitting it into an open net. And I mean, our best chance came with, I think it was Camwer cutting in, crossing to the back post, and a good header, but straight at the goalkeeper. So that was probably the one thing that the Cambridge goalkeeper had to do all day. We're just not creating enough. It looks like we've got players who have ability. I like the look of Davis at left back. I think the players who can clearly use the ball. I like the look of Baker a lot. Baker has, I think, improved the longer he's been with us, and he's toughened up as well. He's a bit of a leader now, and a bit of he's definitely kind of hardened up his defensive game. But we're not doing it all over the pitch, and that's the problem fundamentally. I think we're going to get found out a lot this season.
And I think at the minute, it looks to me like we're thinking, we just need to find two teams worse than us, which is not great.
I mean, we're looking at Cheltenham at the moment, right, with Flinney. Yeah. But it's a long season, and actually, the teams that look really bad now, the chances are, and I think Cheltenham had some investment the other day, so some of those teams are going to come and be at the other end of the table come the end of the season. And the worry is, if we can't put results together now, we might end up going the other way, and that's not what we want. So.
I mean, I always thought it was going to be a tough start for us, and I've said this at the start. We're playing teams primarily who were around the playoffs last year. You like your Grimsbys, your Salfords. We're also playing the teams that have only recently come down. So Bristol Rovers coming up. So I think it has been a tough start in terms of fixtures, and we are being found out. No one's taken us to the cleaners, but we can't get any points either.
That's it. I mean, I haven't been at all the games, but from what I've heard, the games where we've fallen slightly short against the likes of Grimsby, you know, we haven't actually been massively outplayed, but the fact is we still haven't come away with the points, and we can't, you know, it doesn't matter if you lose narrowly, you're still losing. So we need to somehow find a way of kind of winning ugly and getting those points, and you know, when you get a goal lead, locking that in and keeping that, as well as doing the kind of nice, delicate stuff with the ball. Yeah, because we just need those results, basically.
Yeah. And what are we thinking now in terms of, you know, we'll get through this transfer window, let's see what happens, and then how are you thinking for between now and sort of Christmas? What are your thoughts? When's the next game you're going to get to? How does it look?
It's a good question. I think I'll try and get to Shrewsbury away. I'm hoping I'll get to one between now and then, but it just depends. Toying with Bristol Rovers at home, but with it being a 12:30 kickoff and commuting from London, it's a bit of a challenge. I am not feeling massively optimistic, to be honest. If we keep with the same squad, I think one or two players could really liven it up. I do have. I was saying to someone earlier, I do have a lot of faith in David Hughes. I think he strikes me as he's trying to get the team playing the right way, but also he crucially has what Nelson didn't, which is that sort of buy-in to what the football club means to people, the kind of gritty side of the game. I think that's really important.
Not afraid of making changes either. 2 straight at half-time and then 2 pretty much quickly after that.
Exactly, and that was where Nelson struggled. I think he waited way too long to change the team, and we struggled as a result. So I really like him. I want it to work out. It's just a question of the personnel, and I think we're a very young team. I really like what he's doing with the sort of quite a Welsh identity in the core of the squad. But I think one or two really senior players will probably make all the difference in terms of the squad's ability to compete and get results. And I think off the pitch as well, that investment and also just being a bit savvy kind of commercially, doing some deals and you know, bringing some money in is all going to help the on the pitch stuff. And we'll see what happens.
Right, so there we are. It's not looking too bright, and in fact it's clouded over here because it was a gorgeous sunny day this morning, but the brewery we're in is good, so we're going to have our beers. Thanks, David, for stopping and having a chat with us. We'll see you again, no doubt, and you'll probably bump into Jamie somewhere. You know, I don't usually venture this far south, so and good to chat with you, and we'll see you all on the road at some point. Cheers all.
Thank you very much. Cheers.